In this video, I'll be summarizing the book Mindset by psychologist Dweck to show you how one simple belief about yourself can have profound effects on your performance and development. This belief is the foundation to mental training, and you must get this right if you aspire to consistently perform at a high level. Dweck tells us that there are two ways in which people generally think about their abilities. She refers to these two ways of thinking as a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Having a growth mindset refers to having the belief that you have the capacity to improve through practice. Growth-oriented people assume that it's possible to become a better athlete if you're given the right opportunities and support, if you try hard enough, and if you believe you can do it. A fixed mindset is the opposite. It is the belief that abilities are fixed. You either have them or not, and there is little you can do to improve them. Some people with a fixed mindset may believe that they can learn skills, but that their talent and capacity to learn skills cannot be trained. These beliefs influence our attitude towards learning new skills, how we approach challenges, and how we think about failure. They also influence our levels of optimism and pessimism. And by influencing these various factors, these beliefs have an enormous impact on our athletic performances and lives. So let's analyze these two ways of thinking to understand why they have such a strong impact in our lives. All of us start out with the growth mindset. For example, when we are learning to walk, we never decide that it's too hard or not worth the effort. We do not worry about mistakes, falling over, or humiliating ourselves. When we fall, we simply get back up. As soon as we develop the ability to evaluate ourselves, this can change. Some of us become afraid of challenges and of not appearing competent. If, at this early age, we receive praise for our abilities rather than for our efforts, this can lead to the development of the fixed mindset. In other words, if we are led to believe that people are either talented or not, we can develop the belief that abilities are fixed and unchangeable. This belief then makes us fear failure strongly, because failing at something would mean that we don't truly have abilities and that we will be exposed for being inadequate. This way of thinking results in many unfavorable effects. In order to avoid failure, people with a fixed mindset make efforts to protect their egos. They avoid challenges that would allow them to improve. They also develop fragile confidence. They also begin to distort reality by coming up with inaccurate assessments of their abilities as a strategy for protecting their fragile self-esteem. We can even observe the effects of a fixed mindset in the brain. In one study, people with both mindsets came into Dweck's brainwave lab at Columbia. As they answered hard questions and received feedback, their brainwaves were measured to find out who was interested and attentive. What researchers found was that people with a fixed mindset were only interested when the feedback they got was about their ability. Their brainwaves showed them paying close attention when they were told whether their answers were right or wrong. But when they were given information that could help them learn, they showed no interest. Even when they had gotten an answer wrong, they were not interested in learning what the right answer was. Only people with a growth mindset paid close attention to information that could stretch their knowledge. This study shows us that people with a fixed mindset pass up opportunities to learn, whereas people with a growth mindset take advantage of them. This ultimately creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because people with a fixed mindset don't think they can improve, they don't make an effort to do so, which ends up confirming their initial belief. Now that you understand the origin of the fixed mindset, some of its characteristics and negative effects, we will now talk about its opposite, a growth mindset. People who have a growth mindset are more interested in learning and growing than they are concerned about trying to appear superior. And because they seek growth, they pursue more challenging goals that actually help them improve. Also, because people with a growth mindset believe that they can develop their abilities, they are more open to receiving accurate information about their current abilities, even if it's unflattering. They understand that in order to improve and learn effectively, they need accurate information about their current abilities, which allows them to develop a more accurate assessment of their abilities. This is an important point to remember. When you fail, make mistakes, or don't perform as well as you would like to, don't distort reality and make excuses to maintain an inflated self-esteem. You can still be in the process of learning from your mistakes until you deny them. So seek honest feedback and take actionable steps to improve. Even with a growth mindset, failure can still be a painful experience, but it doesn't define you. It is a problem to be faced, dealt with, and learned from.
We live and we learn.
This is by no means as easy as it sounds. If you fail at something after giving your 100% effort, it will rob you from your excuses, and this will hurt. Pursuing your goals wholeheartedly will require having the courage to accept this vulnerability. So, face the uncertainty of the outcome with your head held high, knowing that you were brave enough to give it your best effort.
I make no excuses. It is what it is. I came up short. I took a chance. It didn't pay off. I'll be back.
Now that you understand some fundamentals about these two mindsets, let's talk about what we can do to cultivate a growth mindset. The first step to cultivating a growth mindset is awareness. Awareness of the two mindsets and awareness of our enormous capacity to adapt our body and mind. My goal with this video was to bring your awareness to these two mindsets so that you are able to identify and intervene when you are having fixed mindset thoughts. My goal with the videos about purposeful and deliberate practice and the video on neuroplasticity was to educate you about the fact that you have an enormous capacity to shape your brain and body to become an expert in your sport. Carol Dweck offers a few more strategies to help us overcome fixed mindset beliefs. Number 1, embrace it. Carol Dweck tells us to embrace the fixed mindset. She writes, "Let's face it, we all have some of it. We're all a mixture of growth and fixed mindsets, and we need to acknowledge that. It's not a shameful admission. It's more like welcome to the human race. But even though we have to accept that some fixed mindset dwells within, we do not have to accept how much it shows up and how much havoc it can wreak when it does." Number 2, find its triggers. Does your fixed mindset come out when you make mistakes? When you're playing under pressure? Does it come up before your games or before you're about to pursue a new challenge? Carol writes that as you come to understand your triggers and become more aware of your fixed mindset persona, don't judge it, just observe it. Number 3, name it. The next step is to name your fixed mindset persona. The name you choose does not matter, but Carol offers some examples. It could be a character from a movie, or it could be your middle name, as the persona represents a part of you, but not the main part of you. And lastly, number 4, educate it and take it on a journey with you. Now that you are more aware of your triggers and some of the negative thinking patterns of your fixed mindset persona, you can begin to educate it and take it on a journey with you. The more you become aware of your triggers, the more you can be on the lookout for the arrival of your persona. For example, let's say you're stepping out of your comfort zone and taking a free kick, and you start to feel the nerves and hear the negative internal dialogue of your persona. When this happens, Carol writes that you should be ready to greet the persona and thank it for its input, and then ask it to come along with you. You can negotiate with your persona and say something like, "Look, I know this may not work out, but I really'd like to give it a try. Let's just try it." And then off you go. Deep breath in, out, trust yourself and the training that you have put in, and off you go. I'm going to end this video with a passage from the book that nicely summarizes her technique. Remember that your fixed mindset persona was born to protect you and keep you safe, but it has developed some very limiting ways of doing that. So educate it in the new growth mindset ways that it can support you in taking on challenges and sticking to them, bouncing back from failure, and helping and supporting others to grow. Understand the persona's point of view, but slowly teach it a different way of thinking, and take it with you on your journey to a growth mindset. That concludes the video. I hope you learned something new. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you want to support the channel, hit the like button below and consider supporting me through my Patreon page. Thanks for watching.